want to create a sacred space for others to transform or reinvent their life. I want to talk about that today on Reinventing You. How's it going? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. I've been going on a reinventioning journey. I want to create a sacred space that is a space that is set apart for you, yes you, to reinvent any area of your life that is in need of reinventioning. That is to transform or renew something that's just not working right. I appreciate you being here, and don't forget, coming up in December I will be posting days 1 through 25 of that month, so I hope that you will join me. I want to share some pictures of a room at our lake house where we're going to be reinventing it. This is a room that started out as our son's nursery when he was born, and then later on became his room and then a guest room. It's sort of become the catch-all room where things end up sort of never to be seen again. It's a room where we hate now going into because it just sort of like reminds you of all of the things that you need to do and all the crap you need to get rid of. So it's not one of these places that we really enjoy being in. It seems overwhelming, but my husband and I have decided, as a joint hobby, something to do together, we're going to redo this room, and so you'll be seeing a little bit more. This is sort of the space I'm talking about, and when you reinvent yourself, sometimes you have to set aside a particular area and you have to really focus on that area. Now for me, my area before I decided to reinvent myself was my pastoral career. Calling it career because it was part a calling, part a career. I'd served 5 different churches plus an administrative appointment, and I was burned out in 3 major areas of being a pastor. And the first area where I was burned out was pastoral care. Now pastoral care means a lot of things to a lot of different people. For me, it meant usually visiting. That is visiting people in the hospital or visiting people in their homes or visiting potential members or inactive members. I didn't mind seeing people. I felt for people. I had compassion for them. I prayed for them. I would pray with them when I saw them. I didn't mind that part. It was just the whole thing was drained my energy. It ended up being something that I dreaded and I would put off. Part of being a pastor does mean pastoral care, but it also means teaching others how to do pastoral care. I was fortunate in my last church that I did have a lot of lay people who would do pastoral care, but there's always this mindset that it's something the pastor has to do, not the laity. And that was always a really hard thing for me, to try to teach others that pastoral care doesn't mean the pastor does it. It means everybody is a part of that. The second part of being a pastor is simply preaching and worship, leading worship. When I first arrived at the church that I ended up retiring from, I would do everything in worship, and it was like the Amelia show, and I just didn't feel like that was the best thing. And one of my accomplishments there was we had a worship leader that did everything in the worship. We had laity involved. It wasn't just me. I would get up, I would preach, I would do the benediction. That's pretty much it. I might have a role or two during worship. And I was actually able to worship. I wasn't sitting there the whole time thinking, oh, we need to do this, or this comes next, or how am I going to get over that, or do this, or, you know, tell people about that. It became, at one time, a joy, but it had become a burden. I just hated trying to get a message every week. God showed up in mighty ways. Without that, I don't know where I would be, but it was simply something I dreaded. I did not want to get out of bed on Sunday mornings. I did not want to go to worship. I would be fine once I got there. God would give me a great spirit, but it was just pulling the life out of me, just like the pastoral care was. Instead of something that had been a joy, became a burden. And the last part of being a pastor is the administrative duties. Anything from finance to meetings, especially meetings. Oh my gosh, finance was bad, meetings were worse. I remember one person who had been in administration in a secular world for many, many years. She said, these are the worst meetings ever. And it was. And usually at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting, I felt demoralized and I was usually blamed for something, if not everything. And I just hated that. So those 3 areas of ministry, I was burned out. I was, no joy. There was nothing that was fulfilling. I was on the verge of burnout, and I was facing some really serious health issues, I think, and some really serious moral dilemmas that I think I could have gone down some really bad roads. And when I really sat down and said, what do I need to do? I realized I needed to create a sacred space to reinvent myself, to do some major changing in my life. Just like the room I was showing you, I want this channel to be a place where you can come, be inspired, get some ideas, and then go and make some changes in your own life. As I've said before, I really appreciate you. I'm glad you're here watching this channel. I hope that you plan on watching Vlogmas during the first 25 days of December. If you are interested in renewing a part of your life but don't know where to start, if you'll find a link below, it's my email address. You can send your email address there and I will send you a free checklist to help you begin to transform or reinvent one or more areas of your life. I'm Amelia Sims. This is Reinventing You. Have a great one.